Something was transferred into your hands the moment you encountered this message, not symbolically, not as a figure of speech. An actual spiritual transaction was processed on your behalf seconds ago in a realm that governs material reality. A resource not yet visible to your natural eyes, but already fully real in the dimension where your destiny is constructed, just changed ownership. It left the hands of delay and landed in yours. The season of watching others receive what you were quietly prepared for has ended. The holding period is over. What God, the universe, the highest intelligence assigned to your life has been building toward is no longer coming. It is transferring. Right now, today. In all of recorded spiritual history, there is no more contested event than the divine transfer of resources. Ancient wisdom keepers across every tradition identified it as the rarest of all cosmic movements, rarer than healing, rarer than protection, rarer even than spiritual awakening. Because resources carry weight in both the physical and spiritual dimensions simultaneously, transferring them requires something almost impossible to produce. It requires a soul that has been tested long enough to develop stewardship, but not so long that the testing broke their belief. The window for this transfer is extraordinarily narrow. Most souls miss it. Most seasons close without the transfer completing. Yours did not close. Yours just opened. Think about the last season you walked through. The period where the results were not matching the effort. Where you were doing everything with discipline and integrity, and the external world was not yet reflecting it back. You could have cut corners. You could have chased shortcuts that would have produced temporary relief, but long-term instability. You could have compromised the quality of your character to speed up the timeline of your comfort. But you did not. You kept building in the dark. You kept showing up when the showing up felt invisible. That sustained faithfulness under pressure is the exact qualification the universe requires before it authorizes a transfer of this magnitude into anyone's hands. From the moment you entered that season of quiet discipline, two forces took immediate notice of your life. The first was the spirit of scarcity, the ancient intelligence that guards the boundary between where you are and where you are destined to be. It studied your patterns, looking for the weakness it could exploit. It sent distraction disguised as opportunity. It sent impatience dressed as wisdom. It whispered through people close to you that the waiting meant it was never going to happen. But the second force, the divine stewardship angel, assigned specifically to resource transfer, was simultaneously building the infrastructure for your breakthrough. Every day you held your integrity during the delay, more was added to what was being prepared for your hands. You were tested in the specific language of resources more than once. There was the moment you had access to something that did not belong to you, and you left it untouched, even when no one would have known. There was the time you were offered a partnership or an opportunity that felt wrong in your spirit, and you walked away from money because your discernment spoke louder than your desperation. There was the season of genuine lack where you could have made a decision rooted in fear and scarcity, but instead you made a decision rooted in principle, even when it cost you in the short term. Each of those moments was a stewardship examination conducted at the highest level of spiritual authority. In the celestial records that document the readiness of souls for elevated provision, there is a classification that very few ever reach. It is not given based on talent, education, or even effort alone. It is given to those who demonstrate what the ancient orders called faithful custody, the ability to manage small things with such excellence and integrity that the higher intelligences, responsible for resource allocation, identify them as safe vessels for more. You have been classified as a prepared carrier. That designation means the resources assigned to your destiny are not being withheld from you out of punishment or delay. They were being protected from you until you were protected enough to protect them. That time has arrived. When you passed the final stewardship examination, the one you did not know was a test at the time. The archangels assigned you provision and abundance suspended their current assignments and turned full attention to your file. The divine witnesses who record the moments that authorize material transfer marked your decision as the qualifying act. And God, the highest intelligence that governs every resource in every dimension, reviewed the full account of your preparation. Every season of lack that built your hunger without destroying your hope. Every moment of discipline that developed your capacity without breaking your faith. And declared over your life that the transfer was not only authorized, but overdue. You were seen completely and approved completely. It cannot be overturned by economic conditions, by the opinions of people who underestimated you, or by the delays that have already occurred. The language of it translates as this: the resources, opportunities, partnerships, ideas, and material provisions assigned to this soul's destiny are hereby released from the holding dimension and authorized to manifest in the physical. Every door that closed during the preparation season is now legally required to open or be replaced by a better one. Every connection that was withheld until character was developed is now being released. The pipeline is open. The transfer is active. Nothing that belongs to your destiny can be held any longer. You need to understand what you actually are before you can fully receive what is coming. You are not simply a hard-working person who finally caught a break. You are an ancient soul who has carried the assignment of stewardship across multiple expressions of existence. In previous cycles, you were the one who managed resources for communities, for movements, for purposes larger than personal accumulation. You came into this life with that capacity already encoded, which is exactly why the tests were so specific to the language of money, opportunity, and provision. You were not being punished by the delay. You were being reminded of what you already know how to do. Your hands were built for what is now being placed in them. Your mission with these resources is not accumulation for its own sake. You are assigned to become a living demonstration that wealth and wisdom can exist in the same hands, that provision and purpose can operate together, that someone can receive abundance and immediately use it to expand what is possible for the people around them. Every resource that transfers to you carries a dual purpose, first for your stability and freedom, and as a tool for impact that multiplies beyond what you could engineer through strategy alone. You are meant to be a distribution point, not a destination. What flows to you is designed to flow through you into every life your assignment touches. Because the decree is now active, the material world around you is already reorganizing in ways you will begin noticing with increasing frequency. Conversations will take unexpected turns toward opportunity. People with resources, access, and vision will find their way into your path through connections that seem impossible to explain. Ideas that have been dormant in your mind will suddenly feel urgent and executable. Financial channels that were blocked or barely moving will begin opening with a momentum that surprises even you. This is not the universe becoming generous for the first time. This is the universe finally having a vessel ready enough to receive what it has been trying to deliver for longer than you realize. And as the resources begin arriving, the people in your circle will feel something change. Not just because your circumstances are improving, but because the energy you carry will shift in a way that is impossible to ignore. People who are stuck in scarcity thinking will feel an inexplicable hope when they spend time with you. People who have given up on their own financial breakthrough will feel permission reactivated inside them simply by watching what is happening in your life. You will not need to motivate them with words. Your testimony will do what no speech could. Your elevation will carry a frequency that wakes something up in everyone watching, whether they understand it or not. And you are not the only one receiving this transfer right now. Across the world in this exact season, thousands of souls who spent years in the preparation chamber, building character in obscurity, developing stewardship in seasons of lack, holding integrity when compromise was the easier and faster path, are all entering their transfer window simultaneously. They are in different nations, different industries, different starting points financially, but they carry the same internal signature, the same patient fire, the same unshakable knowing that what was being built in the invisible was real even when the visible showed nothing. They are your network, and you are all being activated in the same season for a coordinated purpose larger than any one of you. If this message reached something true inside you, if it named the preparation you have been living through and the own through transfer you have been standing in faith for, then seal it with an action right now. Drop 777 in the comments, because that number is your declaration to the universe and to this community that you have received the transmission and you are ready for what your hands are about to hold. Share this with someone who has been faithful through a long season of preparation and needs to know their transfer is close. Subscribe so that every message on this channel continues to find you at exactly the right moment. Your season of receiving has officially begun.